management team continues to work in the field when needed to support our staff and our clients. And Sentinel's focus is on providing execution expertise and industry insights that drive successful project outcomes. So that's kind of a little overview with Sentinel. With that, I'd like to turn it back over to Alikia.
Thank you so much, Todd. So I would like to shed some light on AsInt. Before I do that, I would want to understand the mix of audience we have got here. So I'll just share a poll. You'll be seeing a pop-up on your screen. Feel free to add your responses to that.
While Alekhya, while you fill the slide or while you fill the particular poll, we would really appreciate if you could ask us these different questions through the Q&A forum, and we have different moderators in the bunch, and they would love to take your questions and ask the experts in the panel. And yeah, we would absolutely love to answer that. Yep.
I see that we have got a great mix of audience over here. That's really fantastic. Yeah. So great. We can see a lot of mechanical integrity leaders, financial services, operation managers. I think the right fit of audience. Thank you all.
Perfect. And talking about mechanical integrity, Alekhya, it would be great to tell the audience that we are going to have a separate webinar for mechanical integrity coming up, and we would share the link in the end, and you can check out our LinkedIn page, and we would love for you to join there as well. Yep. Over to you, Alekhya.
Yeah. So I'll stop the poll now. Thanks for the responses, audience. So we AsInt are basically a technology company and an SAP partner focused on empowering customers on their digital transformation journey with our advanced digital solutions. So our expertise lies in mechanical integrity and reliability solutions with products like IntelliSuite, risk-based inspection, IDMS, and maintenance spend planning. So maintenance spend planning, or MSP, the way we call it, is our application designed to help users evaluate forecasted OPEX work scopes and make spending decisions based on risk, mitigation, and cost-benefit metrics. So our founders, Rohan, Jarrett, and Michael, bring over 3 decades of experience and have built a passionate team dedicated to solving complex industry challenges leveraging cutting-edge technology. One such solution is digital wall chat, which will be explored further in today's session. So I would like to hand it over to Scott to probably get some insights into what led Sentinel Integrity to adopt digital wall chat.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. My name is Scott Corey. I'm the founder and CEO of Sentinel Integrity Solutions. I founded Sentinel in 2006. We're almost, in May, we'll be 19 years old. I've been in the inspection and non-destructive testing engineering industries for almost 32 years now. And we do a comprehensive variety of non-destructive testing, advanced non-destructive testing, visual inspection, weld inspection, major turnarounds, outages, pit stops, catalyst changes, do on-stream mechanical integrity, run and maintain, unit inspector type coverages, and in probably 12 or 14 years ago, the industry, with the advancements of technology, the industry itself has begun to evolve pretty rapidly. And so as a service provider, one thing that we identified within our organization that we had a tremendous amount of struggles with, as well as our customers expressed a desire to have some improvement in, is the updating and communication of readiness of equipment, the personnel, and all of this stuff. And historically, through the years, everybody used just printed out huge giant wall charts on the wall and used log books and Excel tracking sheets in Microsoft Excel that they sent around back and forth or handed off to their night shift, day shift counterpart on thumb drives. And there's a variety of different problems that can create. So we collaborated with the AsInt guys with the desire to create transparency and efficiency when we're executing our projects for our customers. And we do about, on average, between 40 and 45 turnarounds a year, major outages. We really don't track the small 4, 6, 8, 10-day outages, the smaller ones, but major significant turnarounds, we do about 40 to 45 a year and have from 20 to 125, 140 personnel on an outage, working a variety of different shifts, and communication of the data and the work that's being performed to the other vendors and the owner users that are participating in the turnaround is critical. And so our desire in working with AsInt was to create efficiency so that we could minimize downtime, create transparency where everybody that was involved, whether they were in the inspection or reliability group or whether they were with the turnaround, planning, operations teams, everybody would have the ability to see the same data. Where are we at? Is it opened? Is it cleaned? Is it inspected? Is it ready for inspection? If it has been inspection, are there any repairs that were recommended? Were those repairs approved or disapproved? And what's the status? So that you minimize the crews that are out in the field standing there waiting to know whether they can close something and move to the next item on the turnaround schedule. If you can minimize just a little bit of that a day for each person, rather than literally physically walking in and looking at a physical wall chart on the wall, if you can save a few minutes a day, or I think our goal when we set out was to track and see if we could save 30 minutes a day per person. Obviously, if you save minutes equal hours, hours equal days, and all of that calculates and transforms into dollars and dollars of savings for our customers. So it's been about 4.5 years now, or maybe closer to 5 years, working and collaborating with AsInt on this solution, and our customers have provided a lot of valuable input, and we've had a lot of success with it, not just with turnarounds, but well tracking on projects, big, large mechanical integrity projects, where there's a lot of different tasks to be performed and a lot of moving parts. We've built that out and used that as a vehicle to track and monitor and have real-time progress and completion and updates that our customer can see in real time by using his phone, tablet, desktop login, whatever he chooses. So with that said, thank you for everybody being here, and I'll pass that back over to AsInt.
Thanks, Scott. Rohan, probably we would want to understand from you a bit more on AsInt and what we are doing in this current space.
Yeah, no, thank you very much. I really appreciate the Sentinel team to come online today and sharing their experience. It has been fantastic journey for us on a AsInt side, as we focus on innovating with the so many different application. we know that the shutdown, turnaround, outage is a core to that. And without Sentinel support and vision, we could not deliver, right? So we're a perfect team in that sense that Sentinel bring that in-field experience to us, and Ascend brings that technology experience. And with the combine that experience, we actually drive the digital transformation as any space, right? So if you're a small company or a big company, regardless of the size of a company, we can deliver the solution that can actually be utilized for everybody, right? So really wanted to thank Sentinel team, right? We come a long ways, as Scott mentioned. We started out with Jared going with the Dave McKinnon, sitting down in a trailer to see what the process looked like, right? So we really have that opportunity to work that closely with Sentinel, right? Just a little bit background on Ascent. We do a lot of experience and we have a lot of experience around mechanical integrity, reliability, safety. But people really don't know that we also do a lot around the outage and shutdown and a turnaround, right? The heavily utilized our app is by Sentinel, but this application will change the paradigm, right? If you really wanted to track your flanges, if you really wanted to, as Scott mentioned, if you wanted to track your MI program within that, we are giving that flexibility within the tool. You can do that, right? But if you have a vision that end-to-end enterprise cycle that works from asset strategy to define the asset, and then you perform the activities, and now you take it to that outage and bring that value back to your inspection versus your CMLs to versus your RBI, we can do that, right? With the same single ecosystem, utilizing same master data, right? So that's the beauty about the solution we are developing, and we are really, really excited for this part. And we wanted to share with the world, right? Like what exactly advancement we did. So what you expect on today's, you will hear a lot of experience that Josh put in, for example, on this one, and he utilized heavily as a heavy user for the Sentinel side. But you will also see Pratik doing a live demo for you, right? So I'm really encourage audience to ask all the question, the right question, right? There is no wrong question, right? You can always ask the question. We're gonna stay away just for the slide when all the moderators are talking. But other than that, we are just gonna go to live system and show you what that real solution look like. But we do expect that 1 hour is not enough or 30 minutes demo is not enough. So what we will do is you can also ask us, and we can also do additional demo or more information. But we're gonna do every month. Our goal is to do this kind of knowledge sharing webinar. So when we find out from our client, like outside, and if there's an idea we wanted to bring it to the world, we're going to use this forum to continuing providing this information, right? So that's our goal. We're rapidly working on so many different applications, so stay tuned. Always follow us on our social channels, because that's the best way to get connected. But again, we wanted to go straight into all those kind of like a demo and everything else, but this is the landscape we are doing. So I'm going to pass it back to Alekia. I just wanted to quickly, due to time, and I just wanted to make sure, get back to you, Alekia.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Rohan. So before we
Like,
get,
let
yeah,
me just quickly add before you pass it on. So we have a couple of questions regarding what's the financial statistics of the savings, and questions related to how early before a turnaround do you set up the wall chart, things like that, and what's your customer expectations, and questions related to that. So our speakers will talk a little more, especially Josh will talk a little more about it. And yeah, stay patient. You will get to know a lot about that. Yep. Over to you, Alekia.
yeah, thanks, Pratik. And yeah, before we dive into the key learnings and know-how on digital wall chart from Josh and Pratik, I would like to know the common challenges professionals face with turnaround management, so that we understand where the audience is coming from. So let me just quickly share a poll. Yeah, please feel free to chime in your responses, and also any questions, as Rohan and Pratik mentioned. The team is monitoring our Q&A, and if not in the webinar, we'll definitely get back to you.
Can I ask if the question that's posed is specific to the actual solution? I'll answer it in that regard.
Sure.
when executing our turnarounds and using the solution, the communication between the planning group that works for the turnaround and the turnaround group, the turnaround superintendents, the maintenance step-up guys, the folks, even the craft, the maintenance craft that are the variety of different vendors that the turnaround group has brought in to execute the maintenance craft side of the project. We find that for everybody that's participated in work these outages for a pretty significant period of their career, the bottleneck always seems to be in the inspection BRMs or the inspection trailers, where the inspection personnel performing the turnaround and the non-destructive testing guys are housed, because major portions of what the scope of work for the turnaround entails is evaluating the condition, assessing the condition of the equipment, and then letting them know whether a repair is necessary or not, and then communicating that to either the planning group, the turnaround group, and then they have to go out and communicate that to their crews that are out in the units spread out through the plant. So putting a big screen television or monitor up and then providing it or putting one up in the planning or turnaround department where they can actually walk up and see the updates of the wall chart live, or was as we like to call live at 5, has been a big help, rather than them walking from wherever they're housed, their office space, walking to the inspection space, BRM, and then literally physically getting with someone to either ask them or have them show them the logbook or the paper wall chart that was historically on the wall, and show them where we're at and whether it was complete or whether it's ready to be closed, or in the case of an exchanger, hey, can we stab that? Can we put the exchanger bundle back in the shell? Has the shell been inspected? Have the components been inspected? Has the bundle itself been inspected? Have we performed eddy current if that was required? And which of those are ready to go so it can be reassembled, so they're not hanging out there in the unit, standing around, wasting the customer's money. Not pointing the finger and saying that's their fault, but they don't want to put it back together if they don't know that it's ready to be put back together. Worst thing you can do is put it back together and find out that the shell had a repair or the bundle had a repair. And so there's been significant transparency provided and communication using the application to just eliminate and create efficiency in that regard.
Thank you, Scott. I think audiences have got the answer, and I have been monitoring the challenges that were coming in. And yeah, I think effectively managing multiple activities and managing your equipment availability and managing your inspectors, taking who is working on what, and going through all that. I know it's a hellbent task. And now I think the next session would be really helpful and for you to understand how AsInt digital wall chart is bridging those gaps. I think, yeah, now it's time for the switch, and I would pass it on to Josh and Pratik.
Thank you, Aliki. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining the webinar. My name is Joshua Goodo, the Vice President of Operations for Sentinel Integrity Solutions. Been in the inspection industry for 26 years and the last 15 with Sentinel. So part of me being with the webinar, I wanted to talk about two things, the challenges that we faced prior to the digital wall chart and the benefits of the digital wall chart. So using the traditional wall chart in the past, probably the most important challenge that we had to get over was no real-time updates of inspection activities during the turnaround. This led to delays and inefficiencies in getting our inspection updates sent out to the other team members associated with the turnaround in a timely manner. It did not have the capability of calculating the overall completion percentage of inspection activities, so you really didn't know where you were at with discovery or specific inspection task tracking, such as completed or outstanding IWRs, right? It was all pretty much kept in the trailer, right? But nobody else knew on the turnaround site where we were. Another big issue was limited access to the traditional wall charts. Typically, we only print out one, and it was located in the inspection trailer, making it difficult for all turnaround personnel to view. And simple things such as grammatical errors or poor penmanship, causing confusion and misinterpretation of inspection findings. So not very user-friendly, couldn't be easily revised without printing out again. As you know, most of the turnarounds, there are revisions to inspection scope and pretty much have to start all over, right? With the traditional. But that's some of the, the highlighted challenges, but there's much more than that as well. The benefits of the digital wall chart is a lot more than it's been great, right? I started using it in 2019. I was the first owner of the first digital wall chart turnaround for Sentinel. And it worked great. It was much more reliable, much more quicker, and more transparent than the traditional wall charts we were used to using. So very user friendly, much easier to build than the traditional wall charts. Pratik has this slide up right here. That is, I guess, the dashboard of a digital wall chart. And so when we build in these digital wall charts, I mean, we use the same information that was given to us when we have the regular wall charts, right? We usually receive the inspection work scope on an Excel spreadsheet, take that information up and transfer that to the 3 upload work spreadsheets that we have associated with the software. We have your equipment list, we have your scope of work list, and we also have your activity list, which captures every NDE method and visual inspection associated with each equipment. So very user friendly,
Yeah, hi, Josh. I think we have a couple of questions. Joe, please, you can go ahead.
Yes, Josh, question. How much time does it take to build the digital wall chart?
Okay. I guess it depends on your equipment count. I mean, if you have 20 to 30 pieces of equipment, one day is enough, right? If you got 200 to 300 pieces of equipment on some of these larger projects that we execute, at least 2 to 3 days, right? Just to make sure you get all the information input, So, as you know, the leads usually go in a week early, to start getting everything ready for these turnarounds. A week or 2 weeks early, we usually build it during that time frame, So it just depends on the amount of equipment.
Thank you, sir.
So back to being user friendly, it's also very revision friendly, right? Say if you want to cut some equipment off the wall chart, in the past you'd have to scratch it out. It looks terrible, dirtied up on the wall, right? So revision friendly, you want to remove some equipment on the digital wall chart, you just go into the admin tab and just remove them from the wall chart, right? And they're gone. Then that goes for inspection activities as well, such as eddy current or PT, MT, anything that was supposed to get done, but they couldn't do it or they removed from the scope, we can remove those activities as well. Attachments can be uploaded to the wall chart, including photos of inspection findings and detailed copies of the inspection work recommendations for quick review by the owner user to defer or approve, and for the turnaround management group as well to see them. Very clean and efficient, improves decision-making and saves time for all associated turnaround groups. So when you're looking at the, we call it the airport view, right, of the equipment, we use strategic color palettes, green, orange, and red, right? So you're looking at this one right here on the screen. You see the green, external is complete, UTT is complete, everything looks good. We push forward with it, right? And if it comes up orange, that means it's in progress, right? So, you're doing an internal on a tower. You can knock out the top half, everything looks good. You put it in progress. You put a comment in that activity, say, hey, still waiting on further cleaning in the bottom section. So we'll keep it in progress in orange. So you know that you're not finished as well. And red means it's like stop sign. You written up a IWR, needs attention. Well, you don't close out the activity and it pops up red with the IWR number for review and to generate a inspection work request. So the strategic color palette's nice, Accessibility. The watch work can be viewed at any given time where internet access is available. All turnaround stakeholders will have access during turnaround execution. So there's no need to walk across the plant to come to the inspection trailer to get an update. You can look at it on your phone or your laptop or your desktop or even from your house if you have, as long as you have internet connection. So everything's up to date real time, right? Real-time status updates, great reference for turnaround management during their daily meetings. Sometimes we put up a monitor in the turnaround management trailers, so they can review the status of each equipment when they're making their decisions. We also set up a 50-inch monitor as well in our inspection trailer. But great reference for daily turnaround update meetings and urgent status of a piece of equipment is needed, right? The status update tab, which is shown right here, you can look at the overall percentage, the amount of IWRs that were submitted. That spiderweb graph basis activity basis repairs, the top left shows you where most of your IWRs were generated, which shows that majority of them were generated on the reactors. It gives you activity type completion percentages, where you at on your eddy current, where you at on your visual inspections, external inspections, or UT, or any type of advanced ND. It breaks those down as well, and also gives you the activity per inspector throughout the turnaround. So it's a great tool, right? It's a one-stop shop during package closures. At the end of the job, everybody's running to get everything buckled up. Everybody's trying to get you outside, right? Usually have to go to the wall chart, check your logs, books, make sure everything's good, before you close up these pieces of equipment. So, I mean, when you're reviewing packages for, the sign off closure forms, you have your wall chart up, making sure everything's green, all IWRs were completed, everything's complete with that piece of equipment, and it's pretty much you just sign right there. It's all at your desk. So there's no really running around looking at multiple sites, right, to get answers. And it's a great tool as well when you writing your final reports, because it captures every IWR. You can download the attachment, look what was done, make sure everything was captured. Has your scope of work, open, clean, inspect, 100% eddy current. So everything's right there on your computer. But yeah. And the timeline tab, which is also a great tool on the software, captures all inspection activities that were performed on a daily basis and any comments associated during that inspection activity. Say if you jump in the bottom head of a tower, you jump in, you can put in progress, but in the comments section, you can say, hey, still needs additional cleaning nozzle, water removed from the bottom nozzle. So, and the mechanical vendor can see that as well, and they'll get that taken care of. Go ahead.
Just one other comment on that one. Like when we were working with Dave and on this one, right, this specific feature, right? Like I still remember the story when he told me that we always have this shift change, and this shift change brings some sort of like uh, carry over, right? Because if the exchange of hand doesn't happen well when you are in complexity of a time, when the time is essence, right, and time equals money, right?
Yeah.
So that is the feature we develop over here, right, on timeline. So I still remember going through a couple of years ago when Dave said, well, the morning team is coming in and the night shift is going out, but how do we keep that history intact, right? How can we merge that? So that's why we developed this specific feature around it, right? And I think Dave told me there's some great feedback around it too. Like he has recently talked with Jared around it, like all that. But I just wanted to highlight that how did we come up with this specific feature, right, around this, right?
Yes, it's pretty much used like a turnover book, the timeline. So you have access throughout the day. And what's good about it as well, you can also download an Excel form and filter out each activity. And if somebody wants it sent via email, you just download it, filter it out, and send them the remaining equipment that needs eddy current or, phase array, something specific for advanced guys, which is good. So IWR tab is another great feature of this software. I think Pratik maybe has a slide of that, but the IWR, as you know, you can write up to 200 IWRs on some turnarounds. And the tab also provides a heat map, which shows you where all your money's being spent, whether it's mechanical damage or, it's any type of damage mechanism. So it
Yeah,
groups certain damage mechanisms together, right?
absolutely.
And
Yeah, we'll probably circle back to that once we have
okay,
the demo up and running. Yeah.
right, yeah.
Yes.
So you'll have 100 total IWRs, but say if you have 40 of them, 40 of the IWRs that were written up for mechanical damage, it'll show that more. It'll give you a darker color, which is great. And each tab you can click on as well, and it'll just only bring up those certain damage mechanisms that were being
Absolutely.
repaired.
Yeah. Alekia, do you have questions for us? I see some questions there.
Yeah, I think, Joe, I'll pass it on to you. I think we are monitoring some questions there.
Yes, got a question from the audience. Thank you for the great information, Josh. Is the wall chart driven for fixed pressure equipment like pressure vessels and storage tanks, or do you have piping system tracking capabilities as well?
Absolutely. Yes. We track, on some of the turnarounds and special emphasis projects, and we track PSVs, piping circuits, equipment, tanks, and anything that you need to inspect, we can track on this digital wall chart.
Yeah, if you can assign an asset ID
That's
to
right.
it, then and create a unique identifier being piping circuit P101, P102, or tanks, vessels, columns, towers, drums, heaters, valves, blinds, blind lists, any of the components, valves, anything that you
Anything,
can
pretty
create a
much.
unique ID for, weld numbers, welder IDs, any of that stuff can be tracked.
Thank you, Scott.
So,
Thank you,
so like
Josh.
Joe, for tracking PSVs, usually, during turnaround, you want to look at your inlet and outlet piping, right, when you remove them. And then we have 3 activities for each one, inlet and outlet inspection, and then sent to shop, verify paperwork, and reinstallation, final QC for PSVs.
Okay, thank you. One more question. What are some of, Pratik, this is for you. What are some of the IT challenges with the digital wall chart?
So with digital wall chart, so as you know that we are using SAP BTP over here to deploy our application. So we realize that customers who are not having the particular architecture or infrastructure, they usually rely on a standalone application. So what we have done with digital wall chart is we have inherently tried to create it as a standalone application in which customers with all sizes, all types of architecture can make use of this wall chart and Initially, we were facing some challenges in terms of how customers are basically handling their data, how they want. So some customers, they want to handle their data. They say that, okay, I have everything on my spreadsheet. How do I make it on the wall chart? While some customers, they want to have everything in their ERP system and they want us to pull it from there. So keeping this in mind, Jarrett and his team, they came up with a solution which balances all these requirements and provide basically a solution which touches all aspects to that. Yep.
Thank you, Pratik.
And Joe, just generally, we work with the client, right? So each client has a different setup, right? Each client has the different landscape, different rules and securities they have to follow depending on the region they are, right? Like, so we have a lot of people from overseas, and they have a different scenario that applies to them, right? But we generally work with those clients, the IT in a background, to not only just educate them, but also get them up to speed with what they needed as a minimum requirement, the base requirement, and from that point we solve the IT problem for them, right? The infrastructure problem. And then from that, Sentinel comes in if they are a chosen vendor for the doing activities, right? So they can easily finish up the extra task that is assigned to them, right? So two ways to solve that problem generally, right?
Thank you, Rohan.
Absolutely. So Alekia, is it the best time to start off the demo?
Yeah.
All right. So the fun part here, moving on to the demo, as Josh was talking about a lot of things we saw on the slides, and um, uh, we understand that from customers' point of view, you want to have a solution which is very easy for you to operate, having a very clean UI, a user interface that's very friendly to the user, while providing a lot of functionalities which are basically catering to all your needs and requirements. So keeping that in mind, we created this digital wall chart in which we divided the wall chart into three main personas. As you can see, we have the administrator tile, we have the inspector tile, and the manager tile. So the main question or main requirement we used to have from different customers across the globe was that how do I decide who gets to access the wall chart? How do I decide who is going to manage or inspect the different activities, and who is going to administrate the complete wall chart or complete turnaround? So keeping that in mind, we divided this into three segments, and I'll just so administrator is one of those personas which sets up the turnaround, basically adding all your equipment, your inspector records, who is going to inspect, and what kind of activities are going to be involved in the turnaround. Inspector is the persona who goes on the field and basically inspects the activities assigned to them by the administrator. And the manager is the persona who takes care of the complete turnaround activities, and he is able to follow the schedule time by time, activity by activity, and able to optimize the turnaround well. For some of our clients, the manager and administrator personas are the same. They are basically the same people. But on some clients, we have different types of different teams managing this turnaround. While we created this digital wall chart exclusively for managing turnarounds, we realized that over the time, there are different customers who wanted to use the same application for different use cases as well. So recently we were interacting with a customer based out of Asia. So they wanted to have a particular tool to manage their welding requirements, the welder certification data, etc. So we basically showed them the wall chart tool, how we can manage that, and they were pretty impressed with that, and they wanted to go ahead with the application. So let me dive into the administrator tab to show you the flexibility of the tool. So in here, you can see that there are basically three options for you. You are able to assign your owners and users who all are going to participate in the turnaround. So done with assigning your owners and users, you can basically go back and assign or create your equipment. So these equipment can be anything ranging from your drums, your heat exchangers, your I say flash drums, or your anything ranging from stacks, etc. So you have an option to bulk upload it here, and we can fetch this data from your ERP as well. Once it's there in the system, you can utilize this equipment as you feel necessary through your turnaround going ahead. So once the main crux of the turnaround, which is your people involved in the inspections and the equipment involved for inspections are done, you basically go ahead and set up the different information which is required to set up the actual wall chart. So by wall chart, we mean the graphical or the different KPIs you see on the screen, which Josh was talking about. So that's basically the wall chart, and you'll be able to see once you set up these two tabs, basically the administrator tab. So
Yeah, just a point over here, Pratik. I think couple of members mentioned that tracking equipment and tracking the inspectors, that was a issue commonly being faced right now.
yeah,
So this administrator application takes care of that, and this is again connected to your digital wall chart and the visualization. So that's how we are connecting your equipment, whatever that's in scope within the turnaround, and the users will be working on that.
absolutely, absolutely. So that connection is always there between the three tiles you see, and we provide this as a package to our customers. So giving you an example, suppose we have this particular equipment, and you have all these different activities assigned to this equipment. You can go ahead and assign these activities to the user list you uploaded basically initially, and you'll have an option or a drop down to add those users to this particular activity. You can add additional fields to this, and we are providing this as a fully configurable application, meaning that if you have some other requirements, we are happy to incorporate that in the tool. Once you are done uploading all your equipment data and basically all the activities assigning, you have an option to remove or add different activities as well. So as you can see over the top that, so this is the initial action after which you will be able to add those activities to the equipment. You can see over the top that we have given a lot of activities which Josh was talking about related to mechanical, visual inspection, or PTs, or eddy current testing, things like that. So you have those activities already in mind, or if you are doing this for a customer, they already have these strategies coming out of your RBI, and they know what to do in the upcoming turnaround. So once they provide this to the contractor company or the third party inspectors, what they do is they'll just make a list of it. They'll put that in the activity type. They'll put the different components involved for them to inspect. It can be anything ranging from your shell, your bundle, your tube sheet, etc., and the different work request types that will be involved to inspect those different components. So the idea here is to make the tool very flexible, because going in the turnaround, you might realize that, okay, I forgot to put this particular activity in the drop down, or you may realize that your supervisor may come in and say, hey, can you add this additional activity? So traditionally, when they were doing it on a piece of paper, it used to be very messy, as Scott mentioned, that it used to be really very messy. So we wanted to make sure that we wanted to enable the different inspectors that they do their job. They don't feel the uh, messiness while they are performing this operation. So we have different users and shift log here as well. So team, would you like to add anything here? While
Yeah, Pratik, we focus on flexibility in the overall scope. How you drive each tile is pretty specific, right? I know there was a question around like, what about non-SAP? Essentially, we focus on SAP because we find that all the enterprise resource planning data is available over there, and most of our customer that we interact with, talk with, they're highly utilizing SAP. So when we started developing this application a couple of years ago, that's where we function and force ourselves to. We are looking into alternatives, and you will see more announcement coming soon on that one for the wall chart side. But for now, that's the path we are choosing to do, right?
Awesome. Josh, you have any comments?
No, I believe you covered everything.
Okay.
So,
Thank you. So once we are done setting up the administrator tile, we move on to the inspector tile, where we'll be able to see all the different activities assigned to me as an inspector. So this is essentially the role-based segregation we wanted to do, because it's essential to understand that not all service provider might have their own team, or they might choose to do it differently. So we wanted to make sure that, okay, one set of individuals will be performing the activities and they can see their set of data only. We wanted to ensure that if suppose I am performing the activity, I don't go ahead and change what Alekhya is doing or see what Alekhya is doing, right? So the manager has to be different from the inspector. So once we are done performing the activities, we'll go to the much anticipated manager tile. And so keep in mind that I'm seeing one turnaround here, but it might be so if you are working for a company, for an organization which is performing multiple turnarounds across sites. So you will be able to see multiple turnarounds here in which you are being assigned a role of a manager. So once I get into this particular tile, once I get into the manager tile, this is where all the action goes in, and you are able to see, or you are able to follow what all activities are completed, what all activities are in progress. And Josh was talking about the different colors we have chosen here. In case you have, so you don't want to dive inside the ones which are completed, that you might want to go back and just focus on the ones which are in orange color or in red color, which are failed. So the individual manager can come here and basically see a very clean interface where he can follow that, okay, for my tubes, component as tubes, one of the activities which is assigned to diesel air cooler has been completed, which is your internal VT. And 50% RFT was assigned to that, and that's done. So you can click on it and see that we can basically assign who has been performing these activities and who has completed that. And you can basically attach your activity attachments or your work request here as well. So suppose you might want to attach your photographs of this particular activity. We are allowing you to, I mean, the tool is allowing you to do that, and this will be there as your local storage. There can be many type of components which you can accommodate here. There's no bar to that. And suppose if you want to add, so here we have added, for an example, that nozzles and end caps. And suppose if you want to add, say, shell component or top head, you can go ahead and back to your administrator tab and add it over there, and it will be available for you to basically check it. Right. So as Rohan just mentioned, the tool is extremely flexible, and we wanted to ensure that the user is empowered to use, because a lot of these, we realized after talking to customers that a lot of applications which they are currently using are either Excel based, or they are like extremely robust, and we wanted to make a balance in that, wherein we are providing flexibility as well as integration in it. So yeah, any comments or remarks here, Josh?
I mean, we wanted to keep it just as an inspection activity tracking tool. So, I mean, we can be as robust as we want, but we want to keep it clean and simple and easily to look at, just like, for everyone just to understand it and see where you're at on each piece of equipment.
Absolutely agreed on that.
Yeah, Pratik, I would say that the level of it's highly configurable, which has made it so beneficial in that we're not just pigeonholed to the initial intent was to build a digital wall chart. What it has turned out to be due to the highly configurable design that AsInt put into it, you can use it for a variety, literally an endless application of project tracking capabilities and how complex you want to set it up. Everybody on this webinar knows that the paper wall charts are it's literally they're built out in Excel spreadsheets and they're printed off on huge paper and pinned to the wall or stapled to the wall. They're not real complex. So us building that out in a wall chart form and presenting it in a digital format, that's not complex. It's all the features, the capabilities, and the other digital things that you guys have added into this that really makes it shine and gives it true value and benefit. When your reliability manager can go to his turnaround meeting on the other side of the plant in the admin building, he can literally sit there with the turnaround group and the RLT or the leadership team and discuss the shift change update for the turnaround, and he can literally look at everything right on his phone or his tablet without having to go back and pull data and research in order to be able to intelligently answer a question that someone may have about a particular equipment item that has been worked on during the turnaround. That's extremely valuable. And you can make it as detailed and complex as you want. If there's something that you want to track, you just have to add the field, the variable, when you're building out the load sheets. And when you upload it, it'll appear there and it can be a tracked activity. It's very simple.
Absolutely agreed, Josh.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought this tab right here. I talked about it earlier. Every single IWR we write on a turnaround, and some of the heat maps get real large if it's multiple different types of damage mechanism. But this, I want to show you, so the machine repair has the most, right? We have 3. So you can click on that right there, and it'll just bring up those 3 that we wrote up for machine repair. So it categorizes everything, and it just makes it flow. It saves a lot of time looking for something, right? It's great. In the comments section, we'll just put a little quick blurb of what we've seen out in the field, attach a photo, and then if we get it approved, we'll attach the detailed work scope for repair.
Yeah, I think the best part of this entire process that what we learn is as we go and Sentinel does this utilize in a live project and come up with the problem, we quickly adapt and come up with some sort of solution, right? That's a true digital innovation, right? Like, for example, filter at the bottom. How can I just filter on one asset, what Scott mentioned? Can I quickly just find out about that? If the manager wants to see the update, that can do it, right? Doesn't have to ask questions, doesn't have to text somebody or call somebody. If you wanted to search about something, everything will filter at odd level, right? So there are so many functions over the years that we put it in to it to make it very user friendly. But same times, you have an option, as Scott mentioned, in the phone. You can pull it up as long as you have a browser. You can pull it up on your computer if you have Explorer and ID ready for it. Or you can put it up in a large TV with the touchscreen, right? So that are the technology advancement we're doing in the background to make it this is attractive for everybody, right? But I'm sure we're not going to able to cover everything that we did within that. So if you do wanted to know more about it, please we'll post a link on to everybody, and please register a demo, and we can talk more detail about it, right? Our team will be standby to talk more about it. So Pratik, up to you, 2 minutes.
Yep. So thanks for that, Rohan and Josh. So we just basically wanted to show you the different status options you have in the wall chart, and that's basically it. You basically set up the turnarounds, you inspect it, and you are able to track all these different KPIs over here. So I would love to pass it on to Alekhya and ask for a quick wrap up, or if you have any questions, we would love to take that.
Yeah, sure. I think there is a question on can work permit be integrated within digital wall chart? So probably Tim can answer that.
So work permit definitely can be integrated. It's just a field for us. And if you have any additional documents for work permit as well, it can be, as I showed you, accommodated in the attachment section. As you say, work permit, Sentinel has been traditionally using IWRs and all these different aspects of the wall chart in which, so this is basically just a field for us. So once you are able to set it up, you will be able to see that or view that in the wall chart. Yeah, absolutely no blockers.
Yeah, I think there was another question on IWR. You have covered it, Pratik. And also, I think we do have questions rolling in, but given the time constraint, we'll get back to you over mail. And Pratik, I'll give it back to you for the next session updates.
Sure. Thank you so much, Alekhya. And we just wanted to let you know that, as I mentioned before, we are going to have another of these sessions, which we are trying to do that from. We are basically starting a series, and we are trying to have this a series of sessions in which we want to get to know the industry, and we want to provide the best possible solution to available to the industry as well. So post this call, you will receive a feedback form, and you can check out our LinkedIn page where you can find our the upcoming sessions and upcoming webinars. So thank you so much for joining, and I would really like to thank our panelists and speakers who took out time specifically for this particular webinar, and to our attendees who registered and who joined here as well. So thank you so much, and we look forward to seeing you in the upcoming webinars. Thank you.
We did have great questions coming in, so thank you for that, team. And I think it kept the audience engaging. So yeah, it's a great sign.
Thanks.
Did
Awesome.
all of the questions that were asked get answered, or are we going to reach out independently to those folks and answer their questions?
I think most of the questions here were answered. We are trying to answer that simultaneously, and the ones which were not answered, we would encourage you to keep posting that, or we'll try to reach out to you after this call. Yeah.
Yeah, I've answered a few here.
Sure. Yeah. Thanks for that, Scott. So yep, that's it. Thank you, and we look forward to seeing you in the next sessions. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful day.
everyone.
Take care.